disturbing.
Hi there, and welcome to Dork Wars, the podcast, your galactic hub for all things Star Wars. My name's Blake, and I'm here with some of the best hosts in the galaxy. First off, the funny one, Wesley.
What's up, dorks?
You're sporting that manly beard tonight.
Thank you.
I like it.
Your mom likes it too.
Oh! Dang.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's not what I expected to start the pod out with tonight.
The commentator, Andrew.
Howdy, dorks.
And our very own Jedi Archive, Dietrich.
I'm just still trying to get over how much Blake's mom loves Wesley's beard. It's insane, man. It's crazy.
Let me tell you, she loves.
Yeah. She does. She calls me about it sometimes. It's actually quite awkward.
Gives y'all both something to talk about.
It does, because we both enjoy it. I'm digging it.
I can't wait for Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah, it's going to be odd.
Only so much turkey you can gobble, you know?
What does that even mean?
It's an old expression.
Before this gets any creepier, let's get into some news. Now hear this.
Now hear this!
Now hear this!
Now you hear this, whoever you are.
All right, so first up in our news, The Marvels is set to premiere on November the 10th, 2023. Are any of you guys planning to see this movie, like, in the theaters? Or are you going to wait?
Not in theaters, but I'll probably watch it on Disney Plus.
I'm with Wes.
Yes. I probably won't watch it. At all.
At all?
At all.
Well, there's a lot of people in that camp, it seems, because the pre-box office ticket sales project this to be the lowest MCU film debut of all time.
I feel like they've just been declining. Even the show.
They have been.
There's been a trend of that lately for them.
Yeah. And it's only getting worse. I think people are kind of tired of the MCU. I think they're too spread out now, and, you know, we should have ended it with Endgame. That's just me.
I agree.
I don't know. I think there were a few good-ish things about some of the movies that came after, but overall, yeah, you could have like just had those as one aside stories and not necessarily not really relating it to the overall grand phases of Marvel.
I think after Endgame, they tried too quickly to just merge it all back up together and have some of those super events, and it's, you know, or trying to get them started, and you can't do that with these movies. It took 10 years to get to Endgame, you know. So you got to build slow or rebuild slow after such a monumental movie such as Endgame. Something that could have really been the end for the MCU, and everyone be happy with it. In other news, 18 years ago, Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2, the OG, was released. And I missed that game. I missed that game a whole lot.
I can't tell you how many hours I sank into that game.
Yeah, me either.
Probably
Space battles?
like a year or more of my life. Overall.
At the very least. I mean, I played that game until even after the PlayStation 2 was like done. I played that game all the time. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you a funny story. My parents got me that game on Black Friday, and they got it the year it came out.
We'll get the same story. I know this story.
Yeah, we do. We've talked about it before. Yeah. So they go to Kmart, and they were supposed to just have Battlefront 1 for like, I think $15.
Yeah.
And this game came out in October, and a month later is Black Friday. So Kmart had misprinted the price of Battlefront 2 as well to read like $15 or something like that. So my parents bought me Battlefront 2 for $15 when it was like brand new.
I had the exact same experience as Blake with that, because Kmart messed up their advertisement. But when we went to Kmart, they were sold out already. So we took it to Walmart, and they do a price match type of deal. And so they were hesitant to do it at first, and they made a phone call, and then finally they honored it for $15.
Yeah, Walmart was like, Kmart, you done screwed us up.
Because that's why Kmart's doing so well right now. Makes sense.
Ichuta. Dude, I'm sure after that fiasco, I'm sure that Walmart put a hit out on them.
Did y'all go to the same Kmart? Was it the same one?
I don't know.
I went to one in Raleigh. I don't know.
I don't remember. Probably, maybe.
Was it in Raleigh, Blake? I mean, come on, man.
It may have been.
There was probably only 5 Kmarts at the time.
It definitely wasn't in STEM.
I wasn't. Yeah, I definitely want to stay on where we're from. No, dude, I was 13 at the time.
Way to dox Blake, Wesley. Just tell him his house address at this point.
Oh, man.
Well, we say that's where we grew up. We didn't say that's where we are now.
That's fair.
Yeah. Now you just doxed me. Take.
Did I? Because I could say, "Oh, how's your house in blank?"
So, yeah, Battlefront 2 was one of the coolest, I think, Star Wars games ever. You got to play as Jedi. That's the first Battlefront game that you could play as Jedi in. The space battle was brand new. We'd never gotten space battles like that. I miss it. If we're going to remake a game, let's remake that one. Just like it was, with better graphics and better mechanics.
I was going to say, I think they did remake it.
That one was crazy. You could go into a Star Destroyer and blow it up from the inside. That was the coolest.
Yes, this was fantastic.
To me, at like 12 years old or whenever. When did it come out?
2005.
18 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's right. So I've been like 16-ish, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I was 12. I was about to turn 13.
Let me share my infinite wisdom with you of 4 more years.
Yeah, bring it. Now would be a good time to let everyone know that Dork Wars, the podcast, has a merchandise store.
Merchandising. Merchandising? What's that? Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Open up the store.
We have Dork Wars the hoodie, Dork Wars the t-shirt, Dork Wars the coffee mug, and we even have
Battlefront 2, the bootleg case.
Yes, where it says Dork Wars Battlefront 2, and it's all of our faces on it. You can play as Jedi Master Wesley or Clone Commando Diedrich. Yeah, we're not going to sell a lot of those.
I'll buy one.
That's because your face is on it.
Well, yeah, we'll sell 4 copies. At least.
Well, I'm making them. I'm not buying one. I'm giving one to myself. So, 3 copies.
I need part of that money, so you have to pay for it.
Well, fine then. I will put in $2.
I gotta get my 10 cents.
There's no CD-ROM in it at all. It's just the case, and it's drawn on white printer paper.
It's a collector's item, okay? Seriously, though, check out dorkwarspodcast.com. There you can find our merchandise store. Links to our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, /X, Twix, whatever you want to call it now. All our socials, and, of course, everywhere you can find our podcasts, such as Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and all the other podcatchers. So, Dork Wars, the podcast, has a pretty big announcement. We have helped to found a new podcasting network. It is called the Subculture Podcast Network. And we are so happy to be a part. We already have 5 members, of course, Dork Wars, the podcast. We also have Entertainment Rants, Portable Hole Publishing Podcast, Trekker's Delight Podcast, and the Iconist Podcast. So go and check that out. You can check that out at bio.link/Subculture Pod Network. So go check out all those podcasts. And hopefully I have time to make a little insert to put right here.
This show is part of the Subculture Podcast Network. For pop culture and entertainment podcasts, go to bio.link/Subculture Pod Network. Prepare to be entertained.
Tonight, we will be talking about and wrapping up the Disney Plus series Ahsoka.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
So going forward, we will be spoiling Ahsoka. So if you have not seen the Ahsoka series on Disney Plus, turn Dork Wars off. Go watch all of Ahsoka. I mean, that's only, 8 hours of your life. Then come back here and listen to us discuss this series.
Attention. Spoilers.
So guys, I just want to talk about... Before we get into Ahsoka, I have to put this audio clip that our good friend and follower on Twitter, longtime listener of the show, Rural Farm Boy, sent to us. We asked those in the Twitterverse, Twixiverse, X-averse, whatever you want to call it, their thoughts on Ahsoka, and he sent us this. So thank you, Rural Farm Boy.
Howdy do, Dork Wars boys. It's RFB. Seen the Twitterverse post asking what friends' thoughts were on Ahsoka for the season. Well, I went into this, as I do with any other new Star Wars story, to sit down and just watch and wonder, what is it that the storytellers have to tell us? And also with this, I follow spoilers, if you don't already know that. So I went into all 8 parts, knowing different things as they were coming, and learned some stuff. Some have been sitting, that I've heard, had been sitting on for nearly a year, and then learned some other newer stuff where we were getting closer to part 5 and part 6. But I loved it for just what the story has to tell. And it's just starting. Some folks ain't quite understanding exactly where this is headed to, because it's going to get tied in and around to possibly some parts of have to do with Skeleton Crew, and then it's going to wind up with what was supposed to be the 2026 film that Dave Filoni's going to go and put together. Some folks may also not have noticed that the first 4 parts of Ahsoka took place right in and around the same time of Mando seasons 1 and 2, and then the last 3 brought it straight up into and in line with Mandalorian season 3, if you're looking at it timeline wise. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Ahsoka. Loved it for all what it was and what we were told. I don't have any really disagreements with it, because it ain't my story to tell. I'm being told a story. And hope to have other friends give them your thoughts. Let's hear what it is, whether it's Twitterverse or an email or a voicemail like this in here. And then put it out in that podcast playlist. Put it out there. Get it and come spend the day with me. Keep me company at work. Keep me company at home. Then I'll go share it out in the Twitterverse and hope other friends give a listen too. Looking forward to the next. And whatever else you boys fixing on doing now that we're in a big wide open space. Looking forward to it, boys. May the force be with you. Long live the Empire.
Thank you again, RFB, for sending us that message. And I think you make a great point. Knowing what we know now, seeing what happens in this show, we can connect that to future shows, and that may color how we view Ahsoka in the long run. So now back to your regularly scheduled Dork Wars the podcast. So guys, I just want to talk about all of it, the whole thing, the whole series. We can focus a little bit more on the finale because that's where we're at. But just what this series was as a whole. Dietrich, what are your thoughts on this series and the way it wrapped up?
Wasted potential.
Oh.
Wah, wah.
I didn't expect that from you. I don't
That's
know
it.
why.
Yeah, Dietrich's been pretty positive about Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty positive for the most part.
I kept holding out. I kept holding on to hope because you got to have hope. But yeah, now we're done. And so wrapping things up, I think that's the only way I would put it into summation.
All righty. Wesley, what are your thoughts on the Ahsoka series and how it wrapped up?
I think whenever someone or something invokes a lot of thought or a lot of wonder, or a lot of questioning, I personally enjoy those feelings. So, and Ahsoka episode 8 did that for me. The season finale. So, I think it's pretty good.
What is Andrew laughing at?
I don't know, but now I'm dying.
No, I don't know what it was, but it was hilarious.
Because it sounded like such an insult the way he said it. I love it.
So, Andrew, what are your general thoughts on Ahsoka and the way that we wrap this thing up?
I mean, I don't know. I never really saw all of Clone Wars or any of Rebels, except for maybe a little bit. I thought it was pretty cool. I think it's going to lead into some interesting new Star Wars with some characters that I'm not completely familiar with. Major point, I don't like Ahsoka. There's something about Ahsoka that I just don't...
Like the character herself or like the show?
Something in the show. I don't know if it's the character. I don't know if it's the actor. I think it's the actress, Rosario Dawson. It's not that I don't like her or anything. I just think... I mean, I thought she was cool, but the fighting just didn't seem... I thought she was supposed to be like some super fighter.
I would argue she wasn't even the lead in her own show. And I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah. But it's not really like a major point. I guess major point. That's just like one of my major takeaways. Overall, I thought it was pretty good, and I think it's going to lead into some great characters.
Okay. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I can sum it up with this: blue balls. That's what you got at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
You start out this series with a bunch of plot threads that have already started in other material, like Rebels, mostly Rebels. I think all of Rebels. And then you go through this entire series.
And Mando Season 3.
What plot threads from Mando Season 3 are carried out through this one?
Just that there is an empire out there. There are...
yeah.
The empire exists.
That's true. Okay.
And then,
what's her name? There.
What's her name is from Season 2? The witch. Main witch lady. God.
Melgan.
Yeah, but it was an Ahsoka episode. That whole episode was to set this show up.
Yeah, you just made my point. You said, what other things tie into it? And I was trying to expand on that.
I guess it ties into it, but you could have not seen that and been totally fine.
I think you could have not seen Rebels or Clone Wars and been totally fine with this.
Okay.
I disagree.
Because I understood most of it.
It's not that you can't understand it. It's just that all these, like the very basis of what's going on started in Rebels. And you go through the whole show.
Exactly.
And then at the end of the show, it ends, and none of those plot threads got resolved, save for Ezra making it back and Thrawn making it back. But now Ahsoka and Sabine are stuck.
Yeah, but I think that's what I'm saying. I think that leads into some very interesting plot lines. I never saw Rebels. I never saw Clone Wars, so I totally understand people that disagree and don't like the show because of things that happened in that, or they feel like it's not a great wrap up. I can fully understand that, but as somebody who is just kind of sick of what's going on right now with Star Wars and the constant beating of the Mandalorian and I just feel like all these shows are going downhill. This is starting off mediocre, which means maybe it could get really good. Oh. I mean, I don't think it was great, but I think that it was,
It's just so funny because it sounded like you were like, I was really digging this.
I was digging it. I mean, mediocre. I did dig.
I started off mediocre.
But that's what I'm saying. I dug a lot of it, but there are questions that I have. Like, I don't understand something that doesn't make sense to me is why there's this beloved character who apparently had like multiple seasons of other shows.
And you're arguing that you don't need to see Rebels to understand it. So yeah, you do. Right? Weren't you just saying you didn't feel like you needed to watch those series to understand what's going on? But you really do.
Well, you don't. It's not to really understand what's going on with the story.
No, you don't, because what I'm asking has nothing to do with what I'm asking has nothing to do with understanding something because they explain it in the show. What I'm asking is, it doesn't make sense to me why a character in general spends years doing, oh, I gotta learn the Force, and it all leads up to this one moment where she does a Force push. That I thought that was a little ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't think I had to see Clone Wars or Rebels to understand why that happened. I just think it's ridiculous that they would have a character build that long. Personally.
What's funny is that whole thing, we'll talk about it in a minute, but that whole Sabine thing didn't even happen in Rebels. Like, we didn't even see that.
Well, I know, because you didn't see any of this.
Andrew was able to understand the plot of the show, but maybe he doesn't connect with Ahsoka or have those same feelings for Ahsoka that we do, because we watched 7 seasons of Clone Wars, and then we saw her in, like a season and a half of Rebels.
Yeah, like, what'd you guys think of her as a kid when they brought her in as a kid?
First off,
terrible.
Everyone hated her. She was terrible. She was annoying.
Really?
She was so annoying.
In the show?
God. Yes.
Yeah. Why?
What's up, Sky Guy? Oh my God. Like, she was just, it was just...
You're stuck with me, Sky Guy.
She was just the annoying kid character. And we were all teenagers when the show came out. So...
Was she not like that in Clone Wars or whatever?
Well, so that's the beginning of Clone Wars. Around Clone Wars season 3, end of season 3, she starts to mature a little bit. She becomes a lot more likable. And she kind of takes her own responsibility.
Okay, so let me rephrase my question. Not what do you think of her as a character, what do you think of the portrayal of her as a kid, of her as in the time of the Clone Wars? It was terrible? Their portrayal was terrible?
Oh, in this show?
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
misunderstood.
It was okay. I think that whole...
Not the worst thing, not the best, just kind of, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It was just there. It was just there for me. Like, I thought it looked great. I thought it looked cool. And...
Did we record an Ahsoka episode, or did that not happen? I can't remember.
We did a long, long time ago.
Yeah. And
I don't think it ever made it to print.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then we got all the way close to this, and it was like so much had happened.
It's like we recorded that one because
yeah, we do, but I thought that yes, it seemed to be like a core part because they released that episode in theaters, they hyped it up, Anakin's gonna be in this episode heavily, and she had the lesson. And I don't think we can all agree on what that was exactly. But it was just like a lot of, hey, you've seen Clone Wars. Here's some cool Clone Wars stuff. Look at this. There's Anakin in his Clone Wars outfit. And here's him flashing into Vader and fighting Ahsoka. It just seemed like it was this is for the people who've seen all this other stuff, and it looks cool. And I just don't think it lands entirely. I just don't think it lands by the end of that episode.
I can't argue with you because I don't remember that episode from 2 months ago, but I feel like there's no possible way. I feel like I would remember thinking, what was the point of this if they didn't show me anything in the plot? So there had to have been a reason they showed that. I can't tell you and debate with you about it why right now, but I think you're wrong on that.
I would say that when she comes out of this, she's become Ahsoka the White. She's all knowing, and her disposition's changed. But it all comes from fighting with Anakin, and even in their dialogue, I don't know exactly what the issue entirely was and how it was resolved. So let's go on and move into the topic of Sabine. As you guys know, if you've listened to any of our past Ahsoka review episodes, I've not cared for Sabine being trained as a Jedi or being trained to use the Force when we've never seen that side of her previous to this. And on top of that, it just, I don't know, it just feels clunky to me. Like it's just clunky to me. In the plot, it's just kind of there and like a plot device. Her whole reason for using the Force is to push Ezra at the very end. That's the whole reason she has the Force.
God, I was hoping it would fail and he would just fall into like water or something.
So I would like to revise that. I don't know if that's the whole reason. That's just a big. I think you're totally. Yeah, no, that's not the whole reason. That's just something that happens. I mean, it's the trigger to save Ezra. Yeah. The whole reason we'll probably find out in some other. Is there a season 2?
It's not been confirmed.
Not confirmed? Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm sure we'll find out because there's so much.
I'm all cool with Ezra being saved and stuff. I don't know. She went from not being able to move a cup. I was cool with the lights. I mean, I didn't care for her using the Force, whatever. But if you're going to build the character up, a logical progression of her pulling the lightsaber to herself and hitting that zombie in the head with the lightsaber, that was cool. I was all on board. I was like, okay, I can buy that. But then, like, she Force pushes a whole dude like way.
It's like everything built up to that moment, and then now all of a sudden she's being able to release all this force that she hasn't been able to. It's like she's been constipated, force constipated.
It's like the Force unleashed in her.
Damn, like Andrew's kind of getting me on his side on this one. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I just feel like what you're doing is looking at this show and being like looking at these little moments and being like, it doesn't make sense. This moment shouldn't be this big moment when it's really not. I mean, it's not what you're saying. I think you're diminishing.
Well, and I haven't got to what I think was good though. I mean, I think there's good things in this show.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you're saying doesn't make any sense because they literally, even I, who haven't seen the Clone Wars or Rebels, they tell you like she spent years training, and then Ahsoka stopped training her specifically because the Clone War. No, because was it Order 66 that happened?
No, the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Okay, so that I'm not familiar with that, but a large event happened where a bunch of people died that she cared about, and she was afraid that she would use her Force powers for the dark side, which, in all honesty, it seems like she probably would have until this moment. Her destiny.
So, the Night of 1,000 Tears is when the Empire goes in and blows up all of Mandalore and just destroys it. That's why in Mando season 3 and 2, they're talking about going to reclaim Mandalore. They don't even know if it's safe to go down there. Yes. We've never actually seen it other than a flashback in, I believe, Book of Boba Fett. That's where we got first mention of it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's Mandalorian that we see the bombers.
That's when they're talking about it in on that ring thing in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, okay. You're right. It is Book of Boba Fett.
It's really the Mandalorian. 2.5. Mandalorian 2.5. Yeah.
I hate that so much.
Dude, I still can't get over that we released our first episode after season 1 of Mandalorian.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was actually season 2, I think. Yeah.
Was it season 2?
We started right after season 2 because we talked about Luke Skywalker. Yeah.
Damn, there's been so much time. Okay.
I know, crazy. Right? I track with that. But I think it's because I've seen her in the past, in past things, that I don't quite buy that.
I don't either. And we've seen her, like, people who've seen the Rebels, and she showed no signs of being Force sensitive or even any kind of... Go ahead.
I was okay with her using a lightsaber. Because that's been established for a while, that she got trained by Kanan how to use the Darksaber. So I've always been okay with that.
And people use vibro blades and stuff all the time.
Yeah, and I was cool with that too. But then it's like after the Force unleashed in her, she went from wielding a lightsaber to like X game modes. Like she went crazy with it in the final. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't like this progression she's having.
There were moments throughout the episode where she almost did it. This whole season where she almost did it. I mean, it really has been foreshadowing this moment, and it just really seems like they're trying to say it built up and then exploded, and then who knows? Maybe she'll never do it again.
That was it. One and done, baby.
Who knows? I mean, we don't know. Like,
I do like Andrew bringing up the idea of this being her destiny, and the Force is really reaching out. Kind of like how it did to Chirrut in Rogue One when he's like dodging all the blaster fire. So I do like, now that's been established that does happen sometimes. I kind of like that headcanon, so to speak, of that being how she did it. Not saying I necessarily agree with them showing it and that being how the story worked out, but I can
That's
kinda
not
see
how the Force works. But yeah, but it's cool.
Well, it's also not a stretch because the whales showed up, right? The whales showed up just in time, right? To save them just in time. And you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be something else, which is just goes more to my argument that the Force can be accessed by anybody.
Yeah, I mean, George Lucas did say that, though. George Lucas said that.
Yeah, but what does George Lucas say? Does that mean anything?
Well, you're agreeing with George Lucas right now. So it should.
I hate my opinion.
Sucks. I love Star Wars, but I also hate it.
George Lucas.
I hate all of you, but I love you.
I mean, his opinion doesn't really matter anymore.
Is that not every Star Wars fan ever, Blake? Is that not
ever? I love Star Wars, but I hate it so much. But Sabine, we've talked about that a whole bunch. But Sabine, I think that is something we will continue to talk about in coming months and years. We have a while before we get any new Star Wars, so this is a topic I'm sure we'll revisit at some point through other topics. So let's talk about the stuff we liked in Ahsoka. Let's just divvy it up.
I have a question. I don't know where to pose it.
Pose it now.
Okay, so when I don't know the names, the three witches and their new witch recruit.
That was not Andrew. It's deep fake. It's AI. So, I don't know their names.
So yeah, it doesn't matter, I guess. But when they initiated her into their tribe. Then they conjured up something called the Blade of Talzin.
Yes.
What was that?
Okay, so, hey, I actually looked this up a little bit. I think this is from Rebels. Or, no, this is from Clone Wars. It's actually in Clone Wars.
So Mother Talzin is the leader of the Night Sisters in the Clone Wars era. And she uses a blade that can go against a lightsaber. I'm assuming this is that blade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They can conjure that.
It's the same one.
Sense.
From wherever.
I've seen Clone Wars, and I just, like, so much happens in Clone Wars that it's hard for me to remember everything. But
well, they don't like say, well, this is the Blade of Talzin, it's gonna blah 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 blah. She just pulls it out and starts fighting. Like, there's no.
She just she's just using it. There's no great exposition.
Well, there's like I don't know, the reason I know about it, I looked it up, there's like a screenshot of her like bowing to it. So it's weird that she would just pull it out of nowhere.
She may have. I don't remember there being a big stink about what this blade was. I just remember her using it in Clone Wars. I believe she fought Dooku with it.
Well, I mean, it's a sword that can go against lightsabers. That's a pretty big deal. My opinion. I mean,
let's move into some things that we liked about Ahsoka. Let's mix it up a little bit. Wesley, what do you like about how Ahsoka wrapped up this final episode? Kind of where it all culminates together.
I kind of like how the stories ended. In some ways, like, I think it was good for Sabine's and Ahsoka's relationship for them to be stranded on this planet now. And so now they get to spend more time together and train and grow.
Pillow fights, painting each other's nails, talking about boys.
Yeah, all those fun things.
And then Anakin can watch them creepily from the netherworld of the Force.
That you just hit on something like a question that I didn't even like that part.
Oh, we'll get into that in your dislikes then. We'll save it.
Yeah.
So I think it is going to be good for Sabine and Ahsoka to spend time together. They're going to assumably do more Force training so that whenever they get back to the Prime Galaxy, I guess we'll call it, they can fight against Thrawn and his minions, if that is the story, you know.
And then on the other hand, you have Thrawn and Ezra. They're returned back to, well, Thrawn's in Dathomir with the witches, but anyway, they're back in the normal galaxy, if we will. And so that kind of opens up anything to this point. Like, so, you know, stay tuned to see what's next from that.
Yeah.
Last thing is we get just a little bit of Balin and the other girl, his apprentice.
Shin
we get a little
Hati.
bit of them. Shin, yeah. So there's a little bit of like intrigue with them, and what kind of journey they're about to be on.
Right. And I could see where you like how open the story is. There's a lot that can happen. And it definitely did leave a lot open. And that's kind of it's kind of one of my, like, I don't quite like that they left so much. Like, I felt like nothing got resolved. But but I'm also intrigued. You know, like, where is the story going to go? So it's kind of a...
That's fair.
Love-hate, bittersweet kind of thing. Andrew, what you like about this Ahsoka wrap-up?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I pretty much agree with Wesley. I don't know what his argument was. There's no point in me bringing up a like, because it's not like something I super liked. I just thought that I could see why you guys think it's weird that they could just pop up at any time and look, but to me it seemed more like a final understanding of, okay, she finally found peace, she finally is understanding, and she's finally able to train a Padawan, and maybe she's not going to be pushed to the wrong side like I was, or something like that. That's just what it seemed like to me. I mean, that's inferring a lot from a little.
You know,
but
when you put it that way, like, I actually really like that now. I really do. When I first saw it, though, like, for some reason that didn't register to me, and I'm like, why is Ghost Force Anakin randomly here watching?
that's the only thing that would make sense to me.
I don't think it was like a big plot decision. I think it was like, hey, let's throw Anakin in here. The people love to see him. And then he's looking over Ahsoka as if she's done what she needs to do. So it's kind of like an affirmation thing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of...
I like that.
I don't hate it.
Remember how in episode 6... the Jedi are just kind of creepily standing there watching everybody party with the Ewoks. Like, it's not very different.
Yeah,
than
but
that,
the difference is Luke can see them, and they're all like, they kind of like do the tip their hat thing, like, hey, you did a good job, kid. And here, Anakin is just watching Ahsoka and Sabine, and they have no idea he's there. Because I tell you what, if you're looking at a girl through a window, she knows you're there, and that's something that happens sometimes, then that's cool. But if you're looking through a window and she has no idea you're there, that's creepy.
It's so frustrating because it feels like sometimes we don't watch the same show. That whole thing, that whole scene that you said maybe doesn't matter, the whole kid thing, that was her wrapping everything up. That was her wrapping up. She doesn't need to speak to his Force Ghost ever again. She never needs to speak to her master again. I mean, that's what that whole thing was. I feel like you just miss scenes, you don't pay attention, and then you hate on them. And then you later on are like... I don't understand why this is happening.
I understand the scenes perfectly. I understand what they're about. She went through the Clone Wars already. She had those lessons. She went through Rebels. She had those lessons.
No, she revisited that in this show. That's what I'm saying. She completely revisited.
Horns of War! Attack! Attack!
I'm telling you, she revisited all of that to become the gray Jedi, the white.
Ahsoka the White.
What are you talking
Ahsoka
about? Gandalf, the white wizard?
I understand that that's what pushed her to be Ahsoka the White. I just don't understand why it pushed her to be Ahsoka the White.
Because she's still struggling. She still struggles with her master. I mean, even you can see even at the very end.
She did that in Clone Wars. She literally struggled against him in real life and had to accept what he became.
Yes, and I don't think she ever accepted. I do remember watching the Ahsoka arc, but I don't remember her accepting it and moving on. Because didn't she leave the Jedi Order? Didn't she?
That was before she fought him. She fought Darth Vader in Rebels.
That was before, though. I mean, it's still safe to say she still struggled with it.
But since then, we know that she's seen Luke at this point. She knows he turned back to the light side. Why is she going to struggle with that?
I would say Ahsoka has never struggled with turning to the dark side.
Well, I'm talking about struggling with Anakin turning into Vader. That's what I'm saying she struggled with. Like, maybe it's her fault.
Sorry.
Yeah. Same. Maybe, I don't even know, but there's got to be feelings there.
Oh, there is. She does feel like, she even says in here, she feels like she abandoned Anakin. And that's why he turned to the dark side. But at the end of the day, he's already turned back to the light side. He's gone now. I just feel like that kind of would have resolved itself in that, knowing that he made the right decisions in the end, and he did turn back.
And I can see the skepticism because here's an example. Ahsoka in The Mandalorian seemed so zen and so sure of herself. But then in this season, she went through a whole refinding herself again. You know what I mean? And it does kind of suck when they bring that arc up all the time in every Star Wars. You gotta.
It's funny you mentioned that, Andrew. I didn't think about this before, but when we do see her in this, it was in Boba Fett. I know we keep thinking it's Mando, but it's Boba Fett.
Because it's the same. They're the same show. It's the same show.
But when she's at Luke's Jedi Academy, she has that Ahsoka lightness, and she has that charisma that I like to see in Ahsoka. And I think Rosario Dawson played it very well, even when she's talking to Mando. Yeah, that was the character I thought we were getting, and we didn't. And that is before, chronologically, that is before what we're seeing now. So it seems like they kind of dialed her back.
Interesting.
I thought we were talking about stuff we liked. What happened?
It's because it's hard. Wesley kicked on everything I liked. I mean, I feel like I have to touch on things I don't
so
like.
Andrew's already doing his not likes. He's ahead of the game. He's ahead of the game.
Did you or did you not like the zombies?
I enjoyed them.
It was cool.
I think it was weird.
It's not something that has not been breached in Star Wars before. So.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was in Clone Wars or Rebels.
Clone Wars. The Night Sisters brought people back from the dead all the time. In
what do you think?
The Death Troopers book.
I hated the zombie scene. Absolutely hated it. But we can wait till my turn.
Oh, I didn't care. I didn't care for the way they I thought it was weird the way that they acted. The concept's cool.
What scene didn't you like? Like, what scene was zombie? Like when they were just slaying zombies?
No, it was silly that they just all got back up and started like zombie walking toward them. They should have just chopped them down. There's 3 Jedi there.
I understand.
There's 3 Jedi against like 12 zombies. Come on.
And the thing was, right before then, we can presume that they were zombies before that, and they were moving just fine.
Yeah, I'll say the whole show, a lot of the combat felt subpar.
The combat that I liked, I did like Balin and Ahsoka's fight in the 4th episode. I thought that was decent.
I like Balin, dude. I like Balin. That's my like, dude. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this show. I like Balin.
I think that's a lot of people's takeaway, honestly.
We don't need more Ahsoka. We need more Balin.
But you're right. There's a lot of mystery surrounding him, and that there isn't a lot of unclosed stuff. I don't like.
You think they're gonna recast his part?
What'd I miss?
He died.
He died. The guy who played him died.
You didn't know that?
So
Ray Stevenson passed away.
I feel like it was on an episode we've
talked about it, I think, a time or two.
It's hard to remember all the Star Wars lore.
I'm sorry to break the news to you this way.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So what you're telling me is that my favorite line is going nowhere. Okay.
So I don't...
Great.
I don't know. Do they recast a part, or do they tell the story in a different medium? Animated or comics? You know, that's one of those things. I mean, it's going to deal with Mortis stuff. We already know that. The father, the daughter, and the son.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Slap a mask on him and recast. Slap a mask, recast. Slap a mask, recast.
So
that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do.
People wear masks in Star Wars a lot. My solution was to do a little bit of CGI magic next time we see Balin, and he gets eaten by Abeloth or whatever the heck he's looking for, and then he's gone. But you at least get to continue the story.
So looking at my avatar, you know who'd be a really good cast for Balin? I think Nick Offerman would be a great cast for Balin, dude.
He's not in blackface. He's just got cornrows.
Oh yeah, that's when he's. I think that's wife number 2.
He's back with Tammy 2.
Tammy 2 locked up in jail. No, but Nick Offerman, I think he'd be a great Balin recast. But I don't know. I don't think they'll do it.
I don't think so either. I think, and I hate to say this,
Sean Connery. I'm Balin Skull. I'm here to find a dark entity. Is she cute? I'll find out.
I hate to tell you this. Sean Connery has passed away. Ray Stevenson.
Are you serious?
Sean Connery? He's like 100 years old, dude.
Oh my god! I feel like I'm living in another time period, dude.
He died in October of 2020.
Well, that's because that's.
Can we get Charlie Chaplin to play Balin Skull? Be some good slapstick there. How about Heath Ledger? I think Heath Ledger would do a good job as Balin Skull. Chris Farley. Could Chris Farley play Balin Skull?
Oh, I can't breathe.
But unfortunately, I think that they'll either scrap that story and just forget about it, which would suck, or they'll do it in another medium. That's what I think.
I don't think scrapping that story is an option. I don't know why. I'm like,
oh, it totally is.
I believe that they gotta keep it.
Do you know how much stuff Disney has scrapped? I mean, I will say this made it to film, but they're all for like, yeah, we're just not going to do this.
Name one.
Name one?
Name one.
Rogue Squadron movie, the Patty Jenkins movie, the Rian Johnson trilogy.
Well, those aren't stories that started and then stopped, though.
That's true. I'll give you that, but I just don't.
Shoot me a story that they hinted at, and then besides
Darth Maul in Star Wars
true.
story. Han Solo.
That is
sorry,
true. Yeah, really? he was in the final scene for no reason. Then they killed him in Rebels.
And what do you do, Dietrich? Your favorite thing?
Get money and see pretty women. Is that what what are we talking about? My favorite thing.
Did he get naked?
I like your response better, so we'll go with that.
Well, now I'm curious.
Say, he just randomly ignited a lightsaber for no reason.
Just in case you don't know who Darth Maul is.
Yeah.
So, Diedrich, anything that you particularly liked about the wrap-up?
I feel like we've already talked about so much, so I'll kind of go to a little bit of a micro level here. I liked the fight scene with Morgan Elsbeth and Ahsoka. I thought that was well choreographed between the two of them. Not when all the stormtroopers come on board. Then it gets weird. But when the two of them are fighting, I think it's pretty
Rush
cool.
around them and just watch. Like, this is going to be good.
They're like, I don't get paid enough to actually get involved at this. I just want to watch.
Well, at the same time, all of the droids in Episode 3 just stand there and watch Grievous and Obi-Wan fight. So,
yeah,
that's Star Wars.
That's they do that.
They honor the 1v1. Okay, they called 1v1. So yeah, I thought the fight was well choreographed. I think she didn't get a whole hole through her stomach, but died. But whatever.
I think there were a couple good like choreographed fight scenes in this final episode. Like even like right before it, when Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra, they were like in the temple, and I don't agree with the zombie troops, but anyway, when they were going up against them, I think the choreograph was really good for that too, and like especially when Ahsoka told Sabine to pull out your pistols, and then they immediately shifted formation and they gave her cover. I thought it was very tactful.
I think there was something there. I just hated that one of them could have sliced all of them up. Like there was no need for like the whole let's get in a formation. They should have done that like in some other situation. They should have made that a little bit more high stakes. That's just me.
They seem kind of strong though.
I mean, I guess they can't die, but
that's what I'm saying. So quick question, just to stay on topic with that. Is it possible that if in the future we're basically just going to be seeing Thrawn and a zombie army?
I'm assuming that's the whole thing. I mean, where else is he going to get troops? I mean, the remnant of the Empire is not going to be nearly enough to take on the New Republic, obviously, or else they would have done it already. Yeah, I mean, that's what was in all those caskets. I'm assuming it is dead somethings to help them fight.
Dead Ewoks.
Oh, you know how bad that would be? What kind of a mind would that be if it was like the dead Ewoks fighting the rebels?
Night on Endor.
We're gonna get a Star Wars zombie game.
The ones who were killed on Endor, specifically by that ATST in that one scene where it's like, cuckoo, and then it just goes silent. And the Ewok goes and checks on him, his Ewok friend, and the Ewok friend's laying on the ground and he doesn't move. And it's very emotional for a 10-year-old, okay?
Dietrich is emotionally scarred.
That's like Dietrich's equivalent of Mufasa dying.
Let the Ewoks destroy the New Republic. So let's get to my likes. I liked Ezra. I liked Ezra a lot. I think Ezra.
Did you like Ezra or like Ezra?
I liked him. Oh, I liked him. It was the beard.
Was it the hair?
The hair was good too, but it was more the beard.
His eyes.
His eyes were glowing. That was.
His muscles.
Stop it.
Paragraphs of dialogue.
Anyways, I think Ezra was done very well in the series. When we finally catch up with him, he has been protecting these little turtle guys for a while. The turtle rednecks that move their mobile homes around. The caravan. Yeah, that's the caravan of turtle carnies or whatever they are. But when him and Sabine, when they get back together and they're finally together again after all this time, their dialogue, their interaction is fantastic. This is some of the best character work in the entire series, is between those two. And you could just feel how comfortable they are with each other. And it was just two long-lost friends get back together. And maybe there's something more. Who knows what went on in one of those mobile homes on the way in, you know. But I like Ezra a lot. I think him using the Force in that fight was really cool at the beginning. Then it kind of sucked that he took that blaster. He was like, I don't need a lightsaber, but then he needed a blaster. Then when he goes to build his lightsaber, I thought that was neat. Loved it. Loved the whole, he builds a lightsaber just like Kanan's. It was a little cheesy that there's only 2 emitters that look like that. Yes, that's
how
cheesy.
Convenient.
How convenient. Hu Yang just decides he's going to hold on to the other one for the right moment. He uses the Force, I guess. Hu Yang, the Force-sensitive droid. But a Star Wars story. It was sweet. It was cheesy, but it was sweet. I really do like Ezra's portrayal. And even when Ahsoka shows up, like, he's like the glue. He's the glue that holds Sabine and Ahsoka together. And now that glue's in a different galaxy all over again.
Yeah, I liked my boy Ezra. He was pretty cool. I liked him better before he started using weapons, though. I thought in the, what was it, episode, 7, the one before it, he was just using the Force and, ninja stuff.
It was neat.
Cool. I wish he would have just kept doing that.
Yeah, that would have made him seem more mystical.
Yeah, when I see Ezra in combat, if I don't see him with the little slingshot thing, then it just don't feel right, you know?
Oh, whatever. That wouldn't have never. That's so dopey. As lovable as it was, it's so dopey. But you did see the little turtle guys using slingshots when they were fighting.
I thought the turtle guys were weird, dude. I thought that whole thing was weird.
They're just frog turtles. Hi ho. Welcome to our mobile home.
It's a big planet. Is that the only thing? Was he only protecting one little tribe? Like,
that's all that's left.
They made me laugh.
That's all that's left. Yeah.
When Ahsoka and Sabine got stranded on the planet, and so they regrouped with the turtles, and the rock turtles were like, "Yay!"
Yeah, they're so happy.
Hey guys, look, they don't have penises. Yeah.
They were probably so bummed, dude. They probably went through like a day of depression, just like, oh, we're all gonna die. The Raiders are gonna get us tomorrow because everybody's gone. Ezra's leaving.
Yeah, Ezra didn't give a crap about those turtle people. He just up and left. Dang, he's a bad dad.
Ezra was like, I want to go home. Screw this place.
I want to go home. We'll get out of here. Yeah, so going forward, though, I would like to see Ezra train Jason Syndulla. I need that.
Oh, speaking of what you liked about Ezra, did you like how he got back?
I like that he's back in the Prime universe. I like that he's back. I've been waiting for that for a long, long time.
But how did he get back? I mean, was he just...
He was on Thrawn's ship. Remember?
He's just a stormtrooper, and then he just like a lone trooper, the only one of 4 living people on the ship or I guess 5 living people on the ship was able to just leave. I mean,
yeah, that was a little wonky. They leave it ambiguous, but he somehow made it out with a Lambda class shuttle.
Someone said that was Balin's ship. Is that true?
No.
Disregard.
Balin was in a Lambda class shuttle, though.
I think Balin was in a Lambda class. I don't know if there's a way to tell whether or not it was his, but he was riding around in one.
No.
Why, Diedrich? You got a reason for that?
Yeah, Ezra comes back in a ship he took off of Thrawn's shuttle. It was a Lambda class.
Yeah.
And then Balin had used an old Republic version of that. It might still be a Lambda class, but it was definitely different in a setting.
Okay. Yeah. I'm remembering back. I haven't watched it lately, but yeah, I think you're correct there.
Like a pre-Clone Wars Jedi shuttle.
But yeah, Ezra does make it back, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's Ezra!" But no one's like, "Well, where's Ahsoka and Sabine?"
True.
That's gonna be a bad conversation.
Ezra didn't tell Hera that, hey, Thrawn's back.
Not yet. I mean, we literally only got like them staring at each other, and she's like, "Oh, Ezra." That's cutscene. I do wish there was more Balin and Shin in this final episode. It does seem ambiguous whether we're going to get a continuation of that story. Don't care that Ahsoka and Sabine are stranded. I wish they would have somehow made it back as well, because now it feels like we're just going to repeat this story at some point, or some version of it to get them back. And then Ezra and Thrawn are going to get stuck there again. It's going to be a whole cycle. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. No. That's a joke. I don't think that's really going to happen.
This is what's going to happen. Sabine and Ahsoka. Ahsoka's going to train Sabine. Sabine's going to have force powers. Maybe not crazy force powers, but she's going to have some. And then they're going to fight Shin, and they're going to defeat Shin, and the whales are going to save them. And they're going to come back just in time, and they're going to save the world against a zombie army.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let him cook.
Let him cook.
I mean, I'm just assuming that's what's going to happen. That's just what seems like is going to happen. It doesn't seem specific to me. Shin is still there. They're still there. I mean, they're going to fight. That's obvious. They're going to have to get back. That's obvious. There's a zombie army. That maybe isn't obvious.
I will say there is that small sliver where, like, Ahsoka reached out to, what's her name, Shin?
Yes.
And like, hey, let me train you. Let me teach you. And
because it's gone so well with Sabine, I should try that again.
I'm just throwing that out there, like.
Well, I mean, with Balin sticking around, you'd think it would eventually be like Balin and Shin versus Ahsoka and Sabine.
Oh, Balin's he's cut and run, dude. Balin's on his own thing now.
I know well, yeah, and that was really open ended too, wasn't it?
What I got from it was Shin goes and finds all those Boken Jedi people, and she's like, "I'm the daddy now."
Yeah.
She's the leader of them, I guess. That's what it looks like.
I'm the matriarch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's gonna lead them, and
then Balin is off chasing mystical things. So I don't think he really cares at this point.
True.
But so timeline wise, so the last battle of the Empire is at Jakku. And that has happened already in the timeline. So whatever this threat is, it can't be too huge, you know? Like, it's got to be very localized for it to just be considered. It's not even talked about or brought up in this. It's not like the last battle of the Empire was actually here and we defeated Thrawn. That's not what is said. The last battle of the Empire is at Jakku. So...
Wait, so
that's
now
what
I'm
we were
confused.
saying in the last episode.
So this is before Fallen Order?
No, this is way after.
Way after.
Ahsoka is?
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Fallen Order takes place before the original trilogy. It takes place like 10 years after Order 66. And this is after the original trilogy. This show's probably 7 to 9 years after the original trilogy ends.
So look, what is the difference between ABY and BBY?
BBY is before the Battle of Yavin.
Before the Battle of Yavin.
ABY is
so
after
this is like
the Yavin.
30 years after that then. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some significant time has passed.
Oh, okay. Sorry to sidetrack. It's just really hard to understand.
Well,
the
when you
timeline.
get so many stories and so many different eras at the same time, because we're watching Ahsoka, we're playing Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. We also have the Bad Batch on TV. That's right after Order 66. That was recent. And then you have Tales of the Jedi that go back to the... we just got all this stuff going on at the same time in different eras. And Andor. That's going on... I think it's set 5 years before A New Hope. So, I mean, there's a lot going on in these different eras, but we're watching it all at the same time. So, yeah.
It'll be interesting when they bring out Acolyte.
And the Acolyte's way before episode 1.
I know, and I'm going to keep asking, like, so where is this in the timeline? And you're going to be like, dude, 1,000 years. 1,000 years before.
So yeah, I don't think that Thrawn's going to be, like, this galactic threat like we're all assuming. We've all kind of... I think he's going to be... I know me and DJ just talked about that. What? I don't think he's going to be a galactic threat. Not at first. I don't think he'll ever make it there.
You think he's just going to be a little mini-boss?
Yeah, I do.
So what's the next galactic threat?
The First Order.
The First Order.
So, okay, if he's not the next galactic threat, like, what tier would you consider Thrawn, like his threatness level?
Maybe a couple planets.
Regional.
Okay. No, regional. That's okay. Dead where I'm at. I think he has the potential to be that. I don't think he'll have enough resources. I don't think he will. I just don't think he's got a little bit of a following with the Shadow Council. That's all going to culminate into this. I think it's going to be like a mini uprising of the Imperial Remnant, and it's just going to get squashed.
Okay, so then
it's going to be tough for the players involved, but I don't think I don't think the New Republic is going to like wage war on Thrawn. They may. I might be wrong.
So there's like 10 to 7 years between this and that.
Or it's about 20 years. Probably about 20.
So, well, no, if this is in 10 ABY and
Force Awakens is 30.
First Order starts in 20 ABI.
Force Awakens is way farther than that. Force Awakens is 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, but the First Order is founded in 21 ABI.
Okay. So yeah, about 11 years.
So we know for sure that, if we have like 10 years to play with. I mean, seems like a long time.
We've already seen Daddy Hux in the Shadow Council talking about stuff, and we know he does end up siring...
Baby Hux.
Hux Jr. Yeah.
I just finished reading the first book of the Thrawn Ascendancy. And so, I don't know if y'all read that trilogy yet or not. But it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if that Ascendancy group is still around, or what's the status of that support.
And it may be. You just have to reach back out to them. I just don't think it's going to get big enough to be called a galactic threat.
I mean, there's only like 12 planets. I feel like he could definitely do something.
12 planets where?
I mean, there's more than 12 planets, but there's only 12 planets.
There are hundreds of planets.
Mentioned. I mean,
have you ever seen the Senate floor? Each one of those pods is a different planet.
Come on. Yeah, but come on. We're not going to see all those planets. We're only going to keep going to the same 12 planets. I mean, come on, man. That's all he's got to dominate.
Tatooine. Exactly. Don't forget about Tatooine. And there's also Tatooine.
Don't forget about Alderaan.
So. Oh, no. Sorry. No, that is Tatooine. Sorry.
Hey, y'all are failing to mention Tatooine.
So let's go on and wrap this baby up with some reviews, some ratings, as it were. Not review. We reviewed it already, I guess.
What more can we review?
Let's just restart the whole review process. No, we're gonna get into our ratings, and we'll just go in order of our usual order. So, Wesley, what is your rating of the entire Ahsoka series?
Oh. The entire series, let's give it 8.5.
8.5 out of 10. That is out of 10, right?
Out of 7. No, I'm just
Awesome. Any particular reason?
No.
It's what someone told me to say.
It's like relative to comparing it to like I don't know, Book of Boba Fett. It's way above that. And Mandalore season 3 above that. So relative to other Star Wars materials, I think this is pretty good, pretty solid. Like I said at the beginning of this show, it invoked a lot of like nostalgia in me and a lot of thought and curiosity, and it kind of left it open to like, man, like we're starting to speculate like what's going to happen next. And so I think when a Star Wars series can do that and kind of give us this kind of conversation that's constructive, then I think that's a good thing. So 8.5.
Nice. Man, you pulled for something. We went from I don't know to I really do know real quick. That was awesome. So, Andrew, what is your rating for the entire Ahsoka series?
I don't think this is the best Star Wars that we've seen in a while. I can agree with Wesley on most of his points, though. But there also are some things that I do think... There are plot holes, there are weird things that are happening, there's a lot of new shit that's being introduced, and it seems like a lot in one show. I'm giving this one a 7.5. I agree that this is better than Mandalorian Season 3. I think that's how we should start rating stuff from now on. In fact, I think we need a visual representation of ranking in order that we're doing. I love that idea, Wesley. I would put this... better than Obi-Wan, not better than Andor, not better than Mando 1.
Yeah.
I would say that this is better than even probably parts of Mando 2. No. I don't know. That's for later debate. I'm getting sidetracked.
He's having his own podcast with himself right now.
Yeah, 7.5. My apologies.
7.5. I like that idea, but if you guys, we need to go back and listen to some episodes and get our ratings. We have to go fish around for those. So let's do them from new devices so they can count towards our listeners. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be cheating. So, Diedrich, what are your thoughts, your final thoughts and rating on the entire Ahsoka series?
I'm gonna go with like a 5, and then okay.
What about
I could do more if they do a season 2. If they do a season 2 and there's actually an ending to these stories, because nothing actually got resolved. It was just, there it is, we're done for now. Hope you want to stick around for maybe more. If they do a season 2 and it's halfway decent, I would be willing to give this more than a 5. But right now, it's just like, I'm cool with it existing. There are some good moments, but man, it's just a lot of disappointment at the end.
All right.
Wow.
I am going to echo Diedrich.
Oh.
And I say that for the same reasons Diedrich said, and I kind of went into this a little earlier. The main plot points were started before the series began. They are continuing after this series has ended. Nothing, even in a season of a show, there's usually a storyline that goes through the entire show, and that storyline for that season is resolved. That does not happen here in the slightest. So...
I might be gone in Star Wars. Sorry to interrupt, but
what was that?
That's an interesting point that you're bringing that up. That might be gone in Star Wars. We might see a lot of that.
But is it a good thing?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
So, and that's kind of where I'm at. Maybe I'll give it. I'll tell you what. I'll give it a 5.5. So I'm not the lowest. Cheat move.
It's like the Price is Right. You go 1 penny higher.
That's right.
Than your neighbor.
5.8.
No, I'm just kidding. 5 is fine because there were some cool visuals. There were some cool plot points, and at least season 3 of Mandalorian did have a story. Was it the best thing ever? No, but it did have a story. Boba Fett, it has a story. Was it done well? I don't think so, but it has a story there that begins and ends. Now, the middle's a little wonky because they do a whole lot of stuff off screen while we're following Mando around. But so that's kind of my reasoning. So I'm right there with Diedrich. So with that, we have wrapped up the Ahsoka series, or Ahsoka season 1, maybe, if they do another season. I think we would have heard about it by now, I think, if there was going to be. But who knows? So now it is time for the word of the week with Master Yoda.
There is more knowledge here than anywhere else in the galaxy.
Bootleg Battlefront 2 case. The word of the week is.
It's a little odd. I mean, you went all the way back to our merchandising segment. I don't think you've ever gone back that far for word of the week there, Yoda.
Yes. Struck a chord with me, it did. On that case, I better be.
Yeah, there's definitely a spot for you. We will get Wesley to draw you with green crayon.
Green crayon tastes the best.
Yes. Royalties, there should be.
What are you going to do with money in the netherworld of the Force?
For me to know, and for you to never find out.
It's a little ominous. So, Master, what did you think of Ahsoka, the series?
Unfinished it is. Need more context, I do.
Well, again, you've seen it all, right? I mean, you're a Force ghost. You can kind of see all of it.
No spoilers, I will give.
Or will we be happy with the ending?
Cannot say. Happy endings, I do like.
I don't. Yeah, I think we all do love a happy ending for the television shows that we are watching on Disney Plus and Star Wars. So let's just wrap this up. Thank you for listening to another great episode of Dork Wars, the podcast. What would we be doing here without our listeners? So thank you guys for listening. Connect with us on the socials. Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it now. YouTube. We're on YouTube. Come in our live chats every Sunday night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:15 Pacific Time. Always a good time. You can chat live with us on our live show. And you can also check out our new Dork Wars The Highlight series, where we are going back and posting some of our essential episodes that we think you would like to hear on YouTube. Is a new feature with our hosting website where we can post directly to YouTube. And we are using that feature to bring you some more Dork Wars that you may not have heard because they're older episodes. And we will also be posting every episode on YouTube from here on out as well. So check those out for sure. Thank you guys for listening, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for supporting Dork Wars, the podcast. You can check us out on Facebook.com/Dork Wars, the podcast. And if you would like to join in on the discussion or maybe suggest topics for us to discuss, please do so by joining our Discord community or sending us an email at dorkwarspodcast@gmail.com. This has been a
Oliver, shut up!
production